The Joe Rogan Experience.
When you see that Academy Award speech thank you compilation where all the people go up, all the various people that eventually talk shit about him go up and praise Harvey Weinstein.
I never saw it. Yeah.
Oh, my God. It's so bizarre. Yeah. It's so strange.
Because they were intimidated.
Yeah.
That he had that much power over people's careers and they didn't feel like their voice would be heard or that people would, take them seriously. He'd find a way to fuck you, basically. Fuck you up.
He would know
character.
me. He would know me every 3 or 4 times. Like I run into him in Madison Square Garden, and there's a restaurant, Tribeca Grill, which he had owned a piece of at one point, and give you a half-ass hello, maybe. He was way above. I was beneath him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He never got punched in the face.
Is that what it is?
I heard Jason Priestley punched him in the face, though.
Jason
At
Priestley?
a party. Yeah. I heard that. He got out of line, and Jason Priestley punched him in the face.
Wow.
I think nobody beat the shit out of Harvey Weinstein. And it wouldn't be that difficult. He could fucking hardly breathe. He's smoking, chain smoking. Right. He wasn't a tough guy.
No.
He was tough with assistants,
But he's if you thought about a character in a film, Harvey Weinstein is almost 2 on the head.
Almost unbelievable.
Yeah,
nobody would do that.
He would never get away
too
with
much,
all that.
Too much.
And
How
get
many
away
years
with it
is
for
he
so long?
doing?
20-something years.
Is it?
Nobody would do that.
20-something years.
Yeah.
And might be more, right? They got cases
Well, there's way
in
more
LA.
cases. Yeah, there's way more cases. This is just what he's been convicted for.
Right.
I mean, he apparently was behaving like that for decades.
So you're telling me nobody knew?
They knew. They all knew. That's what's crazy is it's worked into his fucking contract. Yeah. His contract had if you get this amount of per sexual harassment case, they had it that he would have to pay this much. If it was 2, he'd have to pay that much. If it was 3, he'd have to... Imagine if you're signing up for a place like, Steve, I know you're a piece of shit, so this is what we're going to work into the contract.
Jesus.
All your piece of shit behavior, we're going to write it down, and you're going to be penalized per piece of shit behavior.
Know
that.
It's amazing.
It's
But you know what else?
They're all complicit.
This is something that I don't understand. These assistants, people in his office, people that knew this stuff, that saw this stuff, that set him up, that he was meeting the girl in the lobby, but then she comes down and says, oh, Harvey needs to meet you up in his room. She was part of it, or he, or whatever the assistants were. It was like, I mean, I would never do that.
They can play dumb.
Yeah, I would
there's
never
also,
be privy to that.
No, of course not. But you don't have to. And when you think of an assistant in particular, you're thinking about someone who has virtually no power. And there's a thing called diffusion of responsibility, where there's too many people involved. You don't feel like you're responsible. You don't feel like that's when they say it's easier to assault someone in front of 100 people than it is to assault someone in front of one person. Because one person might step in and stop it, but 100 people will sit around and go, someone's got to stop this.
Gotcha.
And I think that when you're an assistant, you're working check to check. You got this guy who's the king of Hollywood. He's worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
Intimidating you.
Yes. And he's a big,
I understand.
angry guy. He yells at people.
He yells. That's what he did. You know, what's amazing to me is people still haven't come forward, people that worked with him, actors, whatever, actresses. I think they're still afraid somehow he's going to come back, like in a horror film. Keeps on. He's dead. He's not
some
dead.
people don't.
He's
not.
not
They don't
dead.
want to deal with that publicly. It's a hard thing to talk about.
Right.
They don't want to. They don't want everybody to know. I mean,
I think you're right. And I think also
No,
they
I
feel
don't
like you already
mean
got
people
it.
that he assaulted, just people that were around him,
Yeah.
that were aware. I don't know who that is.
I just think they don't want to talk about it publicly. I think you're right about that. I think he's already been caught. It's over. They got him. He's in jail. He'll be in jail forever. He's fucked up. His body's falling apart. He can't even walk. I mean,
What
his
a fall
punishment.
from grace.
A spectacular
Jesus
fall in
Christ.
just a few years. I mean, if you go back 7 years ago, there's not a whisper of this, right? So 7 years later, the guy's in jail, can't walk. His body's falling apart.
That's where he just got to get somebody to give him the cyanide pill and fuck it.
Should have done that. He had to know where this was going when he was free. He should have just fucking...
I don't think he did know. I think
Really?
he thought he was going to get off, and he was planning a comeback, and he was
But
that deluded.
I
He
know
was
one of
really-
his
he was.
attorneys that was there early on, and he fired him. And I ran into him right before he got sentenced, a few weeks before, and I said, "This fucking Harvey's going to get off." And he said, "No. You see, he won't get off. If he would have kept me." He said,
Really?
if he would have kept me, I would have got him off.
How would he have gotten him off?
I didn't go, I mean, I know the guy, acquaintance from the Knick games. And sure enough, he got, 23 years.
It seems like things happen in the court of public opinion on guys like that.
Well, it certainly did here. I would have just, there's no way I would want to be. What kind of life is that?
He's such a character. I mean, just with his disgusting face and his body and like everything about it.
Horrible.
Yeah.
And you had some dealings with him,
Yeah,
right?
I did a couple of jobs with him. I wrote a script for him. I had to work with him kind of closely on that.
Did he try to grab you?
No, try to grab me.
What was he like?
He was okay with me. He had opinions. He was all right. I mean, it was just work. There was nothing. I mean, obviously.
You didn't go to dinner with him or nothing?
No. It was only in his office and stuff. I did a job for his brother, a job for his brother.
I think his brother was a nicer guy, right?
He was okay. I think he was very intimidated by Harvey. I think Harvey was a bully to his brother, big time.
It's such a fascinating story because
it's incredible. And he had the wife and the two kids.
And a beautiful wife, which is crazy.
Wife.
It's like, how the fuck does that even happen?
Beautiful wife.
And it's one of those things that if it's in a film, it's almost like he's too much of a villain.
Yeah,
you're right.
That would never happen.
All the details, when you put it all together, you're like, no, really? In Hollywood, where he's famous and he's dealing with the most famous people in the world?
Right, and everybody keeps their mouth shut, and he fucks A-list stars and then puts them in films? Like, what?
Do you think that some of the women that have denied having sex with him had sex with him?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wondered about that.
I would have probably. I don't know.
You would have fucked him?
No, I wouldn't have talked about it if I did.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that? That's hard shit to
No,
talk
I
about.
understand, but
Very hard.
the thing about Harvey Weinstein and people like that, they would have had, if he would have said, listen, I'm a fat, disgusting bastard, but if you bang me, I'll put you in the next movie. They would line up. There would be people lined up around the corner.
I think that is part of what he did.
No. I think I don't know if that's true.
I think from what I understand,
I don't think he needed to do this. I think it's his ego, and
I think that's too.
Like Bill Cosby was the same thing.
Yes. It becomes a pathology, and I think there's also a thing about power. It's a power thing, to have power over people.
Sure.
And also to have power over these beautiful actresses that everybody else was lusting over. You put some actress in a film and, she's the center of everyone's attention and she's got a small dress on. She walks into a room and the whole place lights up and she's sucking Harvey's dick. That.
It's the power thing.
Yeah.
Because he could have had
something.
tons of.
That's what I'm saying. He could have had a ton of women,
I think it's an addiction thing too.
Yes.
I think if there was a recording of this one girl that he had groped, and then she wanted a movie role, and he's grabbing her, and he's like, "Just come back to my place. Come on, just come back." Like you're hearing it like a guy asking for heroin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was almost sniveling, like begging her.
Yes,
it was weird.
yes.
Like he'd go from being really intimidating to almost begging, like, pity me. I need you. Please don't embarrass me.
Right.
It was very weird.
Yeah, I think it's an addiction thing.
Yeah.
I think there was so much going on with that guy.
I mean, he had two young, I don't know if they're daughters. Does he have two young daughters? I think he has older kids, younger kids. He had his wife, and they were just gone.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe unless he just said.
That's a rough trip.
Unless he just said, I'm going away. I mean, I don't know if they visited him or what.
I don't know. The whole thing's very rough.
Jesus Christ.
It's all crazy. It's a Shakespearean story.
Absolutely.
It is.
Epic proportions.
Horror story for everyone involved.
Well,
horror story.
The casting couch in Hollywood, if you stop and think about it, right? You've got all these women that want to be in films, they want to be stars. Then you got these guys that can actually help them, make them stars, but they want something. And then you set up this dynamic that's existed since, the fucking 20s.
Yeah. Imagine what it was like back then.
Oh, my God.
Jesus.
Well, you know the Fatty Arbuckle story?
Yeah. Did you read the book, The I, Fatty, that Jerry Stahl wrote?
No.
It's fantastic.
Yeah?
It's kind of almost like a fake memoir written from his point of view. It's brilliant.
Well,
he was the biggest star of his day. He
Yes.
was known all over the world.
Yeah. I mean, he was basically like, he was a comedy star, a huge star, and he did something with a woman where he stuck like a bottle up her vagina.
Well, this goes into it. Apparently, there's theories that he didn't really do that. That it was set up because the guy was jealous of him, like a studio guy. Yeah, it goes into that. It's a really good book. Jerry Stahl, who wrote Permanent Midnight, he did.
Oh, okay.
That guy, yeah.
Oh, that's a great book.
Really
is there real evidence that points to the fact that he was set up?
I think there is.
Jesus Christ.
And that was the end of his career?
Oh, yeah.
Done. Toast.
Done. Yeah,
Wow.
the girl died.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah, there's different theories that he was set up by somebody, and that all that was just they.
Holy shit.
Yeah, imagine that.
That's crazy.
Well, I can tell you, the world is a
San
better
Francisco,
place with Harvey Weinstein off the streets.
Well, he deserves
honestly, what he did to all these actresses and women and assistants,
Evil.
just horrible. And not sexually, but he destroyed guys too, and directors, and just a horrible human. And Jesus.
Well, he was getting away with it, right? For the longest time.
For the longest time.
Behavior that was reinforced by the people around him, and then he got away with it. And what's also interesting is, like, if you help someone murder somebody, you would get an accessory. You would get prison time. There would be charges, but there's no charges against any of the people that absolutely knew what he was doing.
But that's what I'm saying. I have 2 daughters. Okay?
Aiding and abetting, that doesn't apply to that.
Right. Joe, I got 2 daughters in their 20s. I don't think my daughters in a million years, no matter how much they wanted to be in the business, would be an accomplice to that and tell the girl and say, well, Harvey's going to be up in the room, or whatever crazy things. Go get Harvey's medicine to fucking inject his dick or something.
Yeah,
I mean,
he had.
Come on.
Do you know what he had? I was going on this text thread with a bunch of comics. He had a type of gangrene that you get from diabetes,
a bacterial
on
infection,
his dick, and his dick was horribly malformed. So I had this. We were talking about this, and then I Googled it, and then I said to my friends, "Do not Google this." And then they're like, "Why not?" So I send them a photo of it, of what it looked like. Oh my God! It's like your genitals just rot away, like all the skin around it rotted away, and that was one of the things that one of the actresses had said is that she thought that he was maybe intersex or transgender, or that he had a vagina because he was so scarred up.
Oh my God!
So it's like it's almost 2 on the head. It's like as a movie character, he's almost too disgusting.
Well, who do you see playing him in this movie?
That'd be a good question. Who could pull it off?
Christian Bale. Gain the weight.
I hope they don't make the movie. How's that? I don't want to see that movie.
If nothing else, Lifetime will do it.
They're gonna make the movie.
They'll do it. Lifetime will do it.
Fuck that.